How are y'all doing? You guys miss this ugly mug? No. So interestingly, I just drove in the wrong direction. The complete opposite of where I was trying to go. I was trying to meet with a friend. We're filming a documentary, and I drove completely out of the way in the wrong direction. I was mixed up, and I associated the directions with another friend of mine. So yeah, I ended up like an hour and 4 minutes away. Wasn't worth it. We're just gonna call it another night. I'm gonna meet up with him a couple days and we'll go from there. That was my bad. It's a place that I've been to once. So it's been months since I've been there. So that was my bad. Went to the wrong place. So how's that? So I'm just getting back to Philly. Well, I was in Bensalem, if you're aware of Bensalem. So it's still Philadelphia. But anyway, I just hopped on here because I wanted to talk about a video. Let's wait for this to go. I hopped on here because I want to talk about a video that I'm making, it's very early in the process. I'm filming it. But let's just cut to it and I'll explain the video a little bit. I don't really want to honestly, I'm already kind of giving away too much, even though I didn't go into detail. But how about John Gerlach? Now, most of you know that name by now. If you don't, I'm going to inform you a little bit. I don't want to spill too much of the beans because now that it's out there and I've kind of mentioned it, I am making a video about the whole scenario. But if you heard about the grave robber, that happened right by me. Mount Moriah Cemetery is a good 20 to 30 minutes away from where I live. In fact, I have made a haunted video there before. Let's wait for this guy to pass. I made a video there before. Matter of fact, I've made 4 videos, but one video that stuck out on YouTube that's still there and you can watch. It's a very haunted old cemetery. We're talking, there's gravestones, like there are people buried there from the late 1700s. That is how old it is. And it's not technically abandoned, but it is abandoned. And so in 2011, it was officially abandoned. And then around 2014, somebody partially bought it. So somebody was like helping maintain it. So it was split between a couple of people, and they were the ones that were looking over the graveyard. Let me take a sip of water, please. My lips are dry. Anyway, so the graveyard itself is very decrepit. There's gravestones that have been knocked over. Jeez, what is going on in Philly tonight? What the heck? So there are gravestones that are knocked over. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But this man broke into a few mausoleums, a few graves, and the damage is still there. And so I was documenting all that. Like again, I don't want to go into so much detail. I want to save it for the video. But I can tell you that it was happening in my neck of the woods. This guy obviously got caught. He got caught red-handed. I mean, the cops arrested him right in the graveyard. He parked his car across the street thinking, for whatever reason, that it was a bright idea and that nobody would catch on to what he was doing. I mean, it's pretty ballsy to go to a graveyard for one, and then you're gonna be a grave robber, and you're gonna do these types of things, and you're gonna park your vehicle across the street. I mean, let's just say, hypothetically, if I was to do something like that, I would park my car far, far away. I might even cover my license plate. If I'm thinking on a burglar like setting, I'm covering my face, I'm wearing a mask, I'm wearing gloves, something like that. That isn't to say that I'm condoning anything or rooting for this guy or whatever by saying that. I'm just saying that how stupid can you be? That's what this comes down to. But anyway, he went over there, was robbing graves, and the cops rolled up on him and captured him. He had a burlap sack with him, 2 skeletal infants were inside this burlap sack. And yeah, they caught him red-handed. They caught him right there. And of course, he confessed to stealing over 100 bones. There's some things, like I said, that I'm going to talk about here, and there's some things I'm going to leave off the table because I don't want to get into everything. I want to save it for the video. But I mean, come on, man, it's very disturbing. Like stealing skeletons, stealing skulls, making jewelry out of it, selling it on the dark web, selling it just right on Instagram and Facebook. That's just like so bold. I mean, come on now. But when I was there today, I can tell you that they freshly fixed some of the mausoleums. Some of the stuff is still kind of out of whack, but it was a sight to see, and like a depressing sight to see, because yes, there are gravestones that are knocked over, but you can clearly see where he used the crowbar to pry up the graves, like to pry up the I'm not really sure what you call them, like the flat graves, you know, the ones that are kind of above ground, where it's a slate that you just kind of push over and you like drop down in. Those were removed, bricks were removed. You could see like finger marks, like as if someone was digging. So it was pretty eerie to see all that happen. But yeah, this guy was coming all the way from Lancaster, from like Ephrata, which is probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours away from where I live. It's like Western Pennsylvania, and he was coming all the way out here to do it. Now, I could see why it was happening. This graveyard isn't maintained. You can go there all hours of the night. I don't know if the haunted factor is something that played into his psyche or why he wanted to do what he wanted to do. I can tell you that it's about 200 acres, so it's a very big graveyard. Like there's people that have been buried there for decades, and I don't mean just decades. I mean centuries. So you got to think about this: a body that was buried there 100 years ago to 200 years ago. People are gonna have, like, these corpses are going to wear some very expensive jewelry, and it's very common for people to be buried with jewelry, with whatever jewelry, but it's very common for people to be buried with expensive jewelry. So you can only imagine like real pearl necklaces, real diamond earrings, heirlooms, all types of things. I'm not living in my car. But could this be some foreshadowing? It may be. But no, I'm not living in my car currently. But that's not to say that that won't happen, just to be honest. But I don't know. There's some things, guys, that you don't know that you'll know in the future. The stuff I'm making videos about. But have I lived in a car before? I have lived in a car before. I did it for, I want to say a few weeks. And it was during like wintertime. So it's not like this. It was around October, November, a couple years back or so. Long story. Maybe I'll talk about it at some point. But no, honestly, if I had to live in my car, not to get off subject here, but if I had to live in my car, I would get a membership at like the Y, or what other gym is that? That's real popular, Planet Fitness. I would take a shower there. I would, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I mean, this car is pretty sizable, and I've definitely thought about it before. I think sleeping would be the biggest issue. Number one, because finding a place to park and sleep where you're not going to be disrupted. And then on top of that, during the winter, having to wake up and heat your car up, because if you leave your car running all night, I mean, chances are you're going to run out of gas. So that can't be good. But if you have all the doors closed and you have the heat cranked up and you do it for a while, then it's gonna savor that heat. But I don't think that I would hate living in a car. I honestly do not think I would, because I feel more comfortable being mobile. Like, if that makes sense. I don't like staying in one place. But let me get back to what I was talking about. But yeah, I don't think I would hate living in a car. Probably temporary though. But yeah, this whole thing that happened that's just going worldwide right now, it's mind-blowing, because when I first heard about it, I didn't think that it was Mount Moriah Cemetery. I thought it was somewhere else in the world, maybe it happened in California, Wisconsin. I mean, we all know that a lot of crazy stuff happens in Wisconsin. But, you know, I was thinking today, and me and my friends, and I think he's the first, not the first, but in a while, he's been like the first grave robber since, what, Ed Gein, I want to say. But that's just like that's just because of what we know. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty other grave robbers that we just don't know about. And I think this story blew up the way that it did. It's a combination of things. The fact that so many skeletal remains were missing, over 100 bones. The fact that it happened in one of the biggest cemeteries in the United States. I mean, Mount Moriah, if you look it up, it is the biggest cemetery in the United States. And it's one of the oldest. I think also why this story went haywire is because not only was he taking remains, but there are people that are literally buried there that are centuries old. So this guy had like skeletons from like 300 years ago. And that's pretty effing crazy. What's up? What's going on? But yeah, what else can I say about it? I mean, it's disturbing. This guy was blatantly putting this stuff online. Facebook, Instagram. I mean, he gave no F's. This guy was all about it. And apparently he made good money doing it. And think about this, the people that he sold these items to, like he sold other people's remains to, other loved ones' remains to. Think about this, they still have that stuff, I'm sure. There is no way that cops retraced every purchase that was made and got those remains back. I don't believe that has happened, but I can tell you that it's going to be a real nightmare to try and align these bones with, I mean, they're going to have to do like DNA analysis just to put these bodies back in their respective graves. I mean, think about it. This guy stole over 100 bones. Some of these skeletons were partially decomposed. So think about how gross that is. And you have bodies hanging in your basement, partially decomposed, some that still had hair on them. Now, according to an article, a neighbor smelled a foul odor. And I didn't think that when a skeleton or a body is completely decomposed, I didn't think that it gave off any type of scent. Like maybe it would to some degree, but rotting flesh doesn't smell like, bone is very different from rotting flesh. So that only means one thing, that some of these skeletons were in fact still intact as far as having skin attached to them, which is repulsive. I mean, the audacity to break open a grave and then take bodies out of them. My thing is this guy used a crowbar. It's already a given that he used other tools to get in there. Those slabs are 9,000 pounds. 9,000 pounds. That's a lot of weight. And he was doing this alone. As far as we know from right now. I don't think there was any accomplices, but a 9,000 pound slab of concrete. How are you moving that with a crowbar? Like, okay, maybe he put his feet on it and he was able to like push this slab off the tombstone or whatever you want to call those beds. You know what I'm talking about. You know, the ones that are above ground with the slab, because he broke into plenty of them. But those are 9,000 pounds. That's a 9,000 pound lid. And you're just moving that off. How are you breaking the seal in a coffin? How are you opening that up to get the bodies out? And then it's clear as day that he was just ripping the skulls right off their necks. 9,000 pounds. Yup, 9,000 pounds. That's how much they weigh. Those concrete slabs that go over. Now, I'll try and paint a picture, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, like the above ground coffins. They're not really coffins, but they're like tombs. And then once you move it, then you can jump down in it, and then the coffin is below. But those lids are 9,000 pounds, yes. That's how much they weigh. Yeah, absolutely. You can look it up. 9,000 pounds. But anyway, he was prying it open. And I mean, here's the thing, okay? I don't know exactly how much stuff he had as far as tools. Like, he could have sledgehammers, and that would surely weaken things. I mean, all he had to do was break, you know what I mean? Break a piece off, break a piece big enough to slide his body in there. I mean, the guy's like a thin build. He's not like very big or muscular. But then again, like, I've never seen this guy in person, so I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, it's on the news too. And I get it. It is the news. Can't believe everything. But in this situation, it's a little different. You know what I mean? We're not talking anything political here. We're talking about a grave robber. But yeah. And when I was there today, they were sealed up with concrete. So, you know, they were doing work. They were trying to fix as much as they could over there. You see all the freshly painted concrete, all of the, you know, what the spreader, the stuff that they use to spread it out evenly. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe because like 9,000 pounds is a ton of weight, but I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, a crowbar is strong, but he could have had other devices with him, and I'm almost guaranteed by that. This happened at the end of October. It was a little warmer. I think doing it now would obviously been a lot harder because the ground is frozen, especially where I'm at. Like, we just got snow, and today it was 23 degrees, and it said it felt like 10 degrees. So it's damn cold, and I'm sure it's even colder now. But when I was there earlier today, you know, the sun was still kicking. It was daytime. But look, here's the thing, guys. In order to get those things off, you have to be using other stuff. One crowbar. It's crazy that they said that he had a crowbar in his hand. Like, he obviously ditched. Like, he had to have had a bag of tools or a box of tools or at least other things, like I said. But, you know, I guess if you were to, like, put your weight, like, if you were to step on the crowbar, right, put all your weight, or make some type of wedge, then it's possible that you could use that weight to push off. And that would make sense, because at the end of the day, it's just a slab. But the mausoleums, I don't know what he did. You know, I mean, stabbing it with a crowbar, I guess, using a chisel or a hammer. I mean, you have to also remember that the concrete there is very old. Everything is very old. The mausoleums, nothing's been replaced. Nobody comes there to maintain graves. It just doesn't happen. I know at certain graveyards they do, but this graveyard is technically abandoned. So you're not having people look after it. So it's gonna be weak. And there's like a number of headstones and other things that I saw that just had complete chunks and cracks missing out of it. I'm talking about what's his name? John Gerlach, the guy that was breaking into graveyards, and he was really hitting Mount Moriah Cemetery, which is right by me. It's about 30 minutes from where I live. And so I'm talking about what he did and how he was getting these gravestones or getting these mausoleums open. It's just, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is just disturbing, though. Just like, it's just completely, absolutely insane. The fact that he was selling this shit online, though. That just makes it even crazier. People liking these posts and buying these things. And, man, I just, like, you know, I definitely feel for the victims on this, because how the hell are they going to get the respective bodies back into their tombs or graves or mausoleum? How are they going to do that? Like, this guy, I mean, they found over 100 bones in his basement, and he mixed all this stuff up. He was making art with it, you know, making jewelry, making different displays. I mean, he was mixing all types of stuff, mixing and mashing all types of shit. So it's going to be impossible for them. It's going to be impossible for them to put them back in their respective places of rest. What I think is going to happen, it's going to be way too difficult to do that. So what I think is going to happen, I think they're going to make a memorial for all the bones that he dug up, for all the people that he sold on the black market or online, or just desecrated their bodies. That's what I think is ultimately going to happen. It's just impossible. It's virtually impossible to put everybody back where they belong. It's not going to happen. There's no way. If they do it, it's going to be very, very careful, like a very, very careful process of DNA. Yeah. They're going to go off of dental records, any piece of hair that remains on any of the bodies. And that's really it. Because a lot of these bodies, like I said, they're centuries old. Centuries old. Not decades, centuries. There's nothing left besides dental records. They are satanic. They are satanic people out there who practice macabre stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't put it past. Like, I know for a fact, without having to look up any statistic or anything, I know for a fact that there are other grave robbers out there. It's a given. You have how many billions of people in the world? It's a given. Unfortunately, the media has chosen to follow this guy because, I mean, it's a cluster of things that has gone on. And yeah, they're not going to do that. Yeah, no way. I think just a memorial. They're gonna do some type of memorial. They're gonna take all those bones, and they're gonna do something to honor it. But I think things are definitely gonna change for that cemetery. Security, I think it's gonna be a thing where you're not allowed to go there at night. They may even lock it up for a little while. Like when I was there today, there wasn't a security guard in sight. There wasn't a cop in sight. Nobody was patrolling it, which I was very shocked to realize that nobody was there. So I was very easily able to make my video. But yeah, seeing that stuff firsthand, guys, it's pretty trippy. It's pretty trippy to be in that graveyard knowing you're standing right where somebody was just going to town and ripping cement and brick out and breaking these mausoleums open. It kind of hit me when I walked up. I got real close to one of the mausoleums, and you could see the fresh cement that they had paved over. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, like a few weeks ago, there was somebody else standing here for the wrong reasons trying to get in this sucker. So, yeah, it was pretty mind-blowing. It was a pretty mind-blowing experience, besides of how cold it was. Jeez, man. Today it's just been like, it's pretty brutal out when it comes to how cold it's kind of been today. Yeah, we'll get into it more. I'm making a video. I was gonna kind of keep it under wraps, but what the hell? I'm making a video. I don't know when exactly. Like I am trying to put it out as quick as I can, and there are other videos that I'm trying to put out as quick as I can now that I now that I have a new computer. So I'm working on different things, but you know, this is kind of you know, going up like crazy right now. Yeah, it's like it says it's 23 degrees. I don't know, I haven't checked in hours, but earlier, before the sun went down, it said it was 10 degrees. It felt like it was 10 degrees. So it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, it's cold. And I was out there for probably a good 2 hours documenting. I think that was the most trippiest part. Seeing what looked like somebody digging. Like it looked like somebody was digging in the dirt. It looked like finger impressions. And you could clearly see the bricks were removed. If I had a flashlight, that was the one thing I didn't bring. I was gonna shine and just see how much of it, like, I could see that was exposed. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm not trying to see anything like that. Like, my point is to shed light, document, give informative documentation, whether you're following the story, whether you're not following the story, and really just talk about how grotesque and wrong and just, you know, how much of an asshole this guy was for doing this. I know there's a big market for this sort of thing, but not like real skeletons. Like, they do things, or like, you know, oddities are cool. Like, I have nothing against oddities, but like, not digging up legit people that have been buried. You know, let them rest. You know, you like dig them up to try and make some type of art piece. Like, there's plenty of the things that he could have done. Like, there's ways around. You can get substance. You can get things that are bone-like. What are you even doing with animal bones? With like dead animals, maybe like roadkill or something. I don't know. Oh, no, I'm gonna keep this under wraps. You just have to wait for the video to come out. I'm gonna be making this video soon. I'm gonna edit it up. But yeah, I really saw some crazy shit today, guys. I really did. All right. I am. Archaeologists do the same. Well, yeah, true. They uncover bones. That is true. I used to kind of want to be an archaeologist to a small degree. And you know what was responsible for that? The first Jurassic Park movie. I was obsessed with dinosaurs. So when I was a kid, I was like, man, being an archaeologist, that seems badass. But, yeah. Even with that job, it's not what you think. I guess they, you know, they kind of like, they make it seem like, you know, you're so successful, you know, digging here, digging there, and you're finding this and you're finding that. But it's like, those guys like excavate and like dig and search and search and search for days and weeks and months and years. It takes a while, you know? All right. So I've been going live long enough. I definitely enjoy doing this and talking with you guys. Yeah, look up the story, but I am gonna have a video that's gonna come out about it, and I'm gonna get to working on it probably tomorrow. But I have a couple videos that are finished, a couple videos that are in a mix, and when I start releasing videos again, I will let you guys know, of course. If you're watching this, it's your first time watching this, make sure to check out my content. I'm never going to say please, I'm never going to beg you, but consider subscribing. Go check out my channel. Matt is the creator. MATTISTHECREATOR. Matt is the creator, or Matt is the creator. So if this is your first time, again, consider checking out my content. Don't look at the live stuff. The live stuff was cool. It was fun. But, well, I'm not saying don't look at it. Like, watch it. But that doesn't justify my talents, I guess you want to say. Or, like, the quality of what I can bring. And, guys, just, you know, strap in your seatbelts here, because I'm really expanding on the content as well. And there's a lot in store. It kind of sucked that it slowed the momentum down when my computer failed. And so I had to, like, I was pretty much forced to go live every day. And it was a good thing, though, because, you know, instead of just being like, all right, I can't post for a while, I just started going live every single day. And honestly, it was a nice challenge. It was a challenge that I just never really thought about doing. And, you know, it kind of like forced me to think that way, to bring that on. But yeah, I enjoyed going live every day. No matter what, sometimes it was stressful. Sometimes there was things going on behind the scenes, but that's what made it challenging as well. But yeah, it was fun. But regardless of the live stuff, which I will still do every now and then, the videos are where it's at. That, for me, making those videos, that's where I really excel. So if it's your first time here, again, go check out those videos. I have quite a bit of videos, so go check them out. Yeah, man, I like making movies. So that's it. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Yeah, I will be posting soon. I will announce when I start dropping videos again. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, good night.